ladies and gentlemen, friends, entrepreneur dreamers, today, I want to share with you something very important. People are asking, why did India end trade with America? What is the real truth? Now, you may think this is just politics, but behind every decision in trade, there is a bigger story. A story about power, about opportunity, and about the future of business. If you want to understand the future, don't just look at what governments are saying, look at what they are doing. When people hear about countries ending trade, the first reaction is usually fear. They say, this is the end. Opportunities are gone. The future looks uncertain. But let me tell you, that is never the truth. Trade wars, disagreements, and economic separations are not the end. They're the beginning of something bigger. The world never stops moving. Business never stops flowing. And opportunity never dies. It only changes its form. The question is not whether opportunities exist. The real question is, do you have the eyes to see them? Think about it. When America and India cut ties in trade, many companies panicked. They asked, how will we survive without this relationship? How will we grow if this door is closed? But I want you to ask yourself a different question. What happens when one door closes? Do you sit down and cry in front of it? Or do you turn around and look for the 10 other doors waiting for you to knock? This is the mindset that separates successful entrepreneurs from everyone else. The average person fears change, but the entrepreneur feeds on change. The average person says, this is the end. The entrepreneur says, this is the beginning. Every time two countries fight, every time one trade deal breaks, every time one system collapses, a brand new space opens for innovation. Who will fill that space? The people who dare. The people who are bold enough to act while others complain. History has shown this again and again. When one superpower turns away, smaller players step in. When giants fight, new champions are born. And this is exactly what you, as a dreamer, as a builder, as an entrepreneur, must understand. Do not think that trade wars belong only to politicians or economists. They belong to you. Because when governments close one path, they unknowingly create thousands of smaller paths that only entrepreneurs can see. For example, if India stops importing from America, who will supply the products that people still need? Someone must step in. Local entrepreneurs, regional partners, startups that once thought they could never compete. Suddenly, they have a chance to rise. Isn't that powerful? Isn't that exciting? But here's the challenge. You must change your mindset. If you always wait for perfect conditions, you will always lose. If you wait for the government to fix everything, you will be waiting forever. The world doesn't reward waiting. The world rewards creating. So when a trade war happens, don't waste your time asking, why is this happening to me? Ask instead, what new opportunities are now in front of me? That one question can change your entire life. Opportunity is not destroyed by conflict. It is reborn through conflict. The ones who see it early become leaders. The ones who miss it spend their lives blaming others. You must decide which side you belong to. Will you be the person who complains about closed doors? Or will you be the person who finds the new ones? Because there will always be new doors, always new chances, always new markets waiting for the bold. So the next time you see two countries fighting, don't get discouraged. Get curious. Don't step back. Step forward. Don't hide from change. Use change as fuel. because trade wars are never the end. They are simply the beginning of something new. And in that beginning, there is a place for you. If only you have the courage to claim it. Dependence makes you weak. Independence makes you strong. This is not just a statement about nations. It is the foundation of success for every entrepreneur, every business, and every individual who dares to dream. Look around the world, and you will see this truth everywhere. Countries that depend too much on others eventually find themselves trapped, controlled, and limited. Businesses that rely only on one customer or one market collapse when that support is taken away. Even people who depend only on luck or on someone else's approval live a life of fear. But those who choose independence, who build their own foundations, who take responsibility for their growth, those are the ones who rise, who stand tall when others fall. When you depend too much, you are renting your future. When you build independence, you own your future. Think about this. If India had continued to depend on America for every trade advantage, for every piece of technology, for every market, then its future would not truly belong to India. It would belong to the decisions made in Washington, not in New Delhi. And when another country holds the pen that writes your story, you cannot call it your story anymore. This is why independence is not arrogance. It is survival. For entrepreneurs, the same lesson is even more important. Many young business owners ask me, Jack, how can I make my company successful? And I always say, don't build a business that survives only if someone else is kind to you. Build a business that survives because it is valuable. If your entire business depends on one supplier, one investor, one partner, one country, then your business is not strong. It is fragile. It can be broken in 1 second. But if you diversify, if you create multiple sources, if you build systems that stand on their own, then no storm, no trade war, no disagreement can destroy you. Independence gives you confidence, and confidence creates influence. When India decided to step back from depending on America, it was not just a political move. It was a signal to the world that India believes in its own strength. And confidence is attractive. It draws partnerships. It attracts investments. It makes people take you seriously. Nobody respects the person who always asks for help, but everyone respects the one who stands firm and says, we can do it ourselves. Independence is not easy. It is always harder than dependence. When you depend on someone, you take the easy road. You let others make the big decisions, and you enjoy comfort for a while. But comfort today creates weakness tomorrow. Independence is painful first. You struggle, you sacrifice, you carry a heavier load. But that pain builds muscle, and that muscle gives you power for the future. Entrepreneurs must learn to embrace that pain because inside it is the seed of greatness. What are you depending on today that is secretly making you weak? Are you depending on one paycheck, on one customer, on one country, on one way of thinking? If you are, then you are limiting yourself. The moment you decide to break the dependence and build independence, you will see your life transform. Because real strength does not come from what others give you. Real strength comes from what you create for yourself. Dependence may feel safe today, but independence will make you unstoppable tomorrow. Don't rent your future. Own it. Don't beg for opportunities. Build them. Don't let others write your story. Take the pen in your own hand. Business is like a marriage. Mutual respect keeps it alive. This is one of the most overlooked truths in both commerce and life. You see, when two people get married, they don't enter that relationship just to take. They enter to give, to share, to grow together. If one partner only demands, only controls, only dictates, the relationship will eventually collapse. It doesn't matter how powerful or rich that partner is, the bond will break. Trade between nations is no different, and your business relationships are no different. They all depend on one word: respect. In business, money can buy contracts, but only respect can buy loyalty. You can force someone to sign a deal, but you cannot force them to trust you. You can use power to make others cooperate for a short time, but you can only use respect to make them stay for the long term. America and India had trade relations for years, but the moment one side felt dominated, the relationship soared. This is the same with clients, suppliers, investors, even employees. If they feel respected, they will stay with you. If they feel used, they will walk away the first chance they get. Think about the marriages that last for decades. They are not perfect, but they are built on listening, understanding, and compromise. Now think about the businesses that last for decades. They are also not perfect, but they put relationships above greed and respect above arrogance. When India decided to say enough to dependence on America, it was not just about money. It was about dignity. And dignity, once hurt, will always demand change. Entrepreneurs must learn this lesson deeply. Too many startups believe success is about squeezing the most out of others, paying employees less, pushing suppliers harder, demanding more from partners. That strategy works in the short term, but in the long term, it kills the relationship. People don't leave companies because of money. They leave because of disrespect. Customers don't switch brands because of price alone. They switch because they feel unheard. Partners don't walk away because of small disagreements. They walk away because trust was broken. Respect is not weakness. Many people confuse the two. They think, if I respect too much, I lose power. That is wrong. Respect multiplies power. Respect creates allies. Respect builds bridges in times of crisis. When two businesses or two countries truly respect each other, even when they disagree, they find a way back to the table. But when respect disappears, even small problems become impossible to solve. In today's world, no one can dominate forever. No nation, no company. No entrepreneur can force others to follow without giving them respect. Technology has leveled the playing field. Information moves fast. Power shifts quickly. The only thing that keeps people connected through all of this is trust. And trust is born from respect. That's why I always tell young entrepreneurs, don't chase money, chase relationships. Don't chase power, chase respect. Because money without respect is temporary, but respect will create money forever. My friends, whether you are building a startup, negotiating with a supplier, or even leading a team, ask yourself one question: do they feel respected by me? If the answer is no, then you are already on the path to losing them. If the answer is yes, then you have built something stronger than a contract. You have built loyalty. And in the end, loyalty is the foundation of every empire. Business, like marriage, is not about winning or losing. It is about staying together. And the glue that holds everything together is respect. Lose it, and everything falls apart. Keep it, and nothing can break you. Smart entrepreneurs don't fear conflict. They find solutions in it. This, my friends, is one of the greatest secrets to success. Too many people see conflict and immediately want to run away. They think conflict means danger, risk, loss. But I want you to change your thinking. Conflict is not a wall blocking your path. Conflict is a signpost pointing you to a new opportunity. The problem is never the conflict itself. The problem is how you respond to it. Inside every conflict hides the seed of your next big breakthrough. The question is, will you see it? Or will you be too afraid to look? Let's take the example of trade disputes between India and America. Many businesses saw panic, losses, and chaos. But the smart entrepreneurs look deeper. They ask, if this trade is ending, who will step in to replace it? What new demands will rise from the people? What new partnerships will be born in this gap? While others worried, they prepared. While others complained, they acted. And when the dust settled, it was the bold ones who came out stronger. Conflict, whether between nations, companies, or even individuals, always creates two kinds of people. The first kind sees problems and stops. The second kind sees problems and starts. Which one are you? When a supplier fails you, do you give up? Or do you innovate and find a better way? When an investor walks away, do you cry? Or do you fight harder and prove wrong? When governments change their policies, do you wait helplessly? Or do you adapt faster than anyone else? This is the real test of an entrepreneur. In fact, if you look at history, every great innovation was born out of conflict. Airplanes were perfected in the time of war. The internet was created from the need for stronger communication during conflict. Entire industries were born because people were forced to find new solutions when old ones collapsed. That means conflict is not your enemy. Conflict is your teacher. Conflict is your motivator. Conflict is your chance to do what no one else dares to do. They spend all their time blaming conflict instead of learning from it. They say, why did this happen to me? Why did this door close? Why did this person betray me? My friends, life doesn't give you conflict to destroy you. Life gives you conflict to train you. Every challenge is a mirror showing you what you are truly made of. If you hide from it, you stay weak. If you face it, you grow strong. So the next time conflict comes into your life, I want you to do one thing: lean in. Don't run away. Ask yourself, what opportunity is hidden here that everyone else is missing? Because trust me, there is always something hidden. If two countries fight, new markets will open. If two companies clash, space for startups will appear. If two ideas collide, innovation will be born. The smart entrepreneur is not the one who avoids fire. The smart entrepreneur is the one who learns how to walk through fire without burning. Opportunity and conflict are twins. They are born together. If you refuse to face conflict, you will also refuse the opportunity. But if you face conflict with courage, creativity, and resilience, you will find doors that no one else even knew existed. That is how leaders are made. That is how empires are built. And that, my friends, is why smart entrepreneurs never fear conflict. They embrace it. The world is changing. Power is shifting. This is not just a political phrase. It is a reality you must understand if you want to succeed in business and in life. For a long time, the world believed that power rested only in the hands of a few nations, a few corporations, a few wealthy individuals. But look around today. Technology has made the world smaller. Young people are rising. New markets are opening. And the balance of power is no longer fixed. It is shifting every single day in ways that many people cannot see. If you cling to the old system, you will sink with it. But if you adapt to the new reality, you will rise with it. For decades, America dominated trade, technology, and influence. But countries like India, China, Southeast Asia, and even Africa are no longer content to be passengers in the global economy. They are stepping into the driver's seat. They are saying, we will not only consume, we will create. We will not only follow, we will lead. This is not a small shift. This is a tidal wave. And those who are ready for it will be carried forward. Those who are not will be swept away. Entrepreneurs must understand this better than anyone else. Too many businesses fail because they refuse to see that the world has changed. They keep using old strategies in a new environment. They keep chasing old markets while new ones are exploding. They keep respecting old powers while ignoring the rise of new ones. But the smart entrepreneur looks at the map differently. They don't just ask, where has the money always been? They ask, where will the money be next? Think about India. By ending trade reliance on America, it signaled that it is ready to stand on its own. That decision is not just about economics. It is about vision. It is about preparing for a world where power is more balanced, where no one nation can control the future of another. This kind of shift creates enormous opportunities. Imagine the startups that will rise to replace imports. Imagine the regional partnerships that will grow stronger. Imagine the millions of young people in India who will create products not just for their country, but for the entire world. That is what a power shift looks like. It is messy, it is uncomfortable, but it is unstoppable. Most people ignore change until it is too late. They say, this is the way it has always been, so this is the way it will always be. That is the most dangerous thought you can ever have. The moment you think the world will never change is the moment you fall behind. You must train yourself to expect change, to embrace it, to use it. In fact, you must learn to love change, because change is the birthplace of every opportunity. When power shifts, gaps appear. Old leaders leave space. Old companies lose focus. Old markets become unstable. And in those gaps, new leaders, new businesses, new markets rise. This is why I always tell young entrepreneurs, don't chase what is popular today. Prepare for what will be necessary tomorrow. By the time the world sees it, it will already be too late. You must see it now, when it is still invisible to most. My friends, the world is changing. Power is shifting. Don't fight it, don't fear it, flow with it. Because the ones who adapt will not only survive, they will lead. And the ones who refuse will discover that the greatest danger is not the change itself, but the unwillingness to change with it. Never wait for governments to shape your future. Create your own. This, my friends, is the mindset that separates the dreamers who succeed from the dreamers who only complain. Too many people sit back and say, the government must fix this. The government must give me this opportunity. The government must make life easier. But if you depend on politicians to create your destiny, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. Governments move slowly. They argue, they change. But you, your ideas, your energy, your courage, you can move today, you can act today, you can create today. Governments build rules, but entrepreneurs build futures. Policies may create the environment, but only people create opportunities. Think about electricity. Did the government invent it? No. Entrepreneurs? turned it into power plants, businesses, and industries. Think about the internet. Governments helped in research, yes, but entrepreneurs turned it into e-commerce, social media apps, and entire digital economies. Every great leap in history was driven not by waiting for permission, but by taking initiative. Look at what happened when India decided to end trade reliance on America. Many businesses worried, thinking, what will the government do for us now? But the real winners are those who said, what can we do for ourselves? That's the difference. If you wait for leaders to solve your problems, you will always be at the mercy of their decisions. But if you rise up and solve those problems yourself, suddenly you are no longer waiting. You are leading. The truth is, governments can only do so much. They can set policies, they can give direction, but they cannot innovate for you. They cannot dream for you. They cannot fight for your future the way you can. Entrepreneurs must understand that every time there is uncertainty, every time there is conflict, every time there is change, that is your invitation to create something new. Don't wait for laws to catch up. By the time laws catch up, the future will already be here. The world respects creators, not complainers. If you are always blaming politicians, you are wasting precious time. But if you are building, experimenting, and pushing forward, you are writing your own story no matter what anyone else does. The young people of today must understand that the government will never move as fast as your imagination. It will never move as fast as technology. It will never move as fast as opportunity. That speed is in your hands, not theirs. So when the environment around you feels uncertain, don't let fear freeze you. Ask yourself, what can I create today that does not exist? What solution can I build that my community needs? What product can I design that my country can be proud of? Because those who act in uncertain times become the leaders everyone follows when certainty returns. Governments may influence your path, but only you can decide your destination. Never surrender your future into someone else's hands. Build it with your own. Because when you stop waiting, when you take responsibility, when you decide that your future belongs to you, that is the day you become unstoppable.